civilizations.
There is linguistic evidence that ties Mesoamerica to the Near East as well.
Okay, and I want to read directly from this slide about this particular face. Because this slide, if I remember correctly, is a dedication to the god Baal, which was an ancient Sumerian or Phoenician deity, which is where you get the names Bay and El from, that most of the Moors use. Okay? And the caption on the picture talks about his lock-like afro hair and the radiant energy that symbolizes this deity. But of course, again, the deity with the cornrow afro look and the radiant energy definitely looks like, to me, looks like us. Okay? All right. So what do these people call themselves? Because there's a lot of communication about that. Are we Anasazi? Are we Cherokee? Are we Iroquois? Are we Yamasee? Where did the people come from and what name did they use for themselves? Okay, now this is a comparison between the alphabet that's also made in America BC. It's called a Libyan alphabet, which is a form of ancient Arabic. But the symbols, the letters are different. Okay? And it says Libyan alphabet signs appearing on the tablet from Orient, New York, compared with other Libyan alphabets. They always told us that the Indians didn't have languages. I guess that the lexicographers wanted to hide who was actually the people by hiding their languages. The Libyan text of the alphabet is given on page 270 with a translation, the phonetic rendering of the lower section of the tablet, left to right, is Debet Tamir Was, vessel from Egyptian dominions, and the top line reads Ta Depet, this ship. But if you look at the second line right here, Debet Tamir Was, the word that they use for Egyptian is Tamir, because Egypt was called Tamore, Ta meaning nation, and More meaning the people. So this is where you get the ancient term Moors, that the Romans and the so-called various other Caucasian types of people used to call our people all over Africa, which means black. And you find this in America, amongst these same people. So we'll have to ask a question about who we are. Okay? All right. A few more points, because I want to go right into Benjamin Banneker, but before I do, I have to make these points. This is something called a Davenport stele. We talked about it a lot. It's a calendar, an ancient calendar found in Iowa. And it has 3 different types of script. The top has what we call Demotic or Heretic script, which is ancient Egyptian, or Tamore, ancient Moorish script. The second has Iberian Punic, which is a form of Hebrew. And the third is the Libyan Arabic script. And this calendar, based on how it was designed and made, is the ancient Egyptian calendar, which was based on a certain study of astronomy, a certain knowledge of the heavens and the earth, okay, which Benjamin Banneker had, which the Caucasians didn't have, which is why he was the one doing the design for the construction of Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. is laid out on ancient African or ancient Moorish cosmology. Okay? All right. And we went over this before, but this is going to become more important as we go into our subject on jurisprudence and history. This is an alabaster egg of the cartouche of the pharaoh Tutankhamun found in Idaho. Now, what is Tutankhamun's things doing in Idaho and the Smithsonian didn't bring them? Our ancestors brought them here. And this particular dynasty in Egypt, which is the 18th dynasty, which was called Amorna dynasty, when you study ancient Egypt, you'll find that this dynasty brought back an ancient study of cosmology. Now, why I keep talking about cosmology is because we're talking about jurisprudence. We're going to talk about jurisprudence. And the reason why we are in the condition that we're in is we don't know how to govern ourselves. Our self-individual and our self-collective. And we live by a certain spiritual science, which we have all but lost. Okay? So I'm mentioning this particular dynasty of people because they were the reinitiators of this information in Egypt, after they had lost it in Egypt. All right. This is another inscription found. And this is interesting because it's going to lead right into our subject again on our people introducing these people to certain information. This is Jesus ben Maria, Jesus the son of Mary, a petroglyph recorded by Professors Heiser and Baumhoff, and this is from America, BC as well, from a site discovered by Professor Julian Stewart at his site 41 in Inyo County, California. Although the inscription refers to Jesus, the phrase son of Mary is found in several surahs of the Quran, so the text may be Muslim. A Christian might be expected to have written Mary was the mother of Jesus or Jesus was the son of God. This text, deciphered by Fell and confirmed by competent Arab scholars, has been dismissed by one of the archaeological journal as an obvious attempt by Fell to appeal to the religious. So basically what they're saying is, Barry Fell is the man who wrote this book that I pulled some of this information from. And what he has done is he has proven that the people of Northern and West Africa and Central Africa were the true founders of civilization in the North, Central, and South Americas. No one came over the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait was an invention, and we have documented where the invention came in a script called Ulum script that was placed amongst the Delaware Indians by a Caucasian, which is why most of our people believe they came from the Bering Strait. All right. I'm going to lead right into the subject matter. This is another text that we've used before. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I want to show that these Masons that came over here were initiated by our black ancestors on this ground. Okay? And I want to show who we are and why, this subject is so dealt with so delicately. Abbreviated version of the Ten Commandments written in the form of Phoenician or early Hebrew script showing Greek influence. It is inscribed by scraping off the dark desert varnish to disclose the lighter bedrock beneath, and has changed little, if any, during the past century. It is located at Los Lunas near Albuquerque, New Mexico, and has been the object of study by the late Professor Robert Pfeiffer. So here in New Mexico, you also have these ancient Phoenician writings, which have Greek influence because we are the founders of the Greek language, showing the Ten Commandments. Okay?
As a linguist, I have found considerable evidence of Hebrew and Egyptian in at least one language family, Uto-Aztecan. I have not yet published my findings for the linguistic community. The Uto-Aztecan language family is a language, about 30 related languages that are descended from what linguists call Proto-Uto-Aztecan. Their geographic location ranges from Idaho in the north to Mexico City in the south, basically. There are a few dialects in other places. About half of them are in the southwest United States, the other half are in Mexico. Actually, what I find in Uto-Aztecan is two different dialects of Northwest Semitic and quite a bit of Egyptian that has the same sound correspondences as one of those dialects of Northwest Semitic. Northwest Semitic is the branch of Semitic that Hebrew comes out of, Hebrew and Phoenician and so forth. Now that's extremely interesting because that's exactly what the Nephite merger would be, is this merger of two different dialects of Northwest Semitic, one of them having a significant amount of Egyptian in them. And so it's extremely consistent, in fact so consistent that the probability of that happening by chance would be very low. Another thing we need to keep in mind about the Mulekites is that we don't know how they got here, except they obviously crossed the ocean somehow, but the Phoenicians were the prominent seafaring people of that time near Palestine. And in fact, the fact that the people of Mulek named their main waterway the river Sidon, well, Sidon is a major port city of the Phoenicians. It wasn't part of the Israelite domain. So it's very possible that the Mulekites, when Jerusalem was being destroyed, you can't really pick and choose how you're going to take your vacation. You flee for your life and then figure out how to get as far away as possible, probably fled to the coast, got on a Phoenician ship perhaps, and if it was a Phoenician ship, it could have had who knows how many different languages represented in that group.